Okay. All right. So what's happening? Basically, what are we doing today? We are reacting to what's happening in the world of football. Let me change my. Let me change the scoreboard because basically, uh, the game that is happening right now, it's Czech Republic, right? Is playing South Africa. That's what's happening right now. And we are on the 30th minute, 32nd minute. Like this. No, almost. Let's go 10. Oh, okay. Okay, like this. All right, so that's the game that's happening right now. However, I'm not gonna really talk about it too much. It's just there in the background, okay? Because today we have a different. Today we have a different mission. If I'm being honest with you. And window capture, yes. And let's capture Safari. Okay. Okay, so basically what's happening? I think everyone played already, right? So group K, it was the final group. And they played their game yesterday. I mean, today in the early morning, 6 a.m. I think it was my time. So basically now we are just starting over again. Group A, right? Czech Republic and South Africa, they're playing each other. Actually, they're up by 1 goal, so let me give them their goal. However, what's the plan for today, right? We are not actually going to be only talking about this. To be honest, about this, I don't even want to talk right now, meaning the World Cup situation. But I wanted really to deep dive into this situation. Yes, I want to basically deep dive in this situation with Amarim's appointment, okay? Because this is bothering me a lot. I don't understand why would someone hire him as a coach. And I'm not being a hater, okay? Because I am not a hater. I'm just a little bit suspicious, and I really want to know what's happening. Meaning, like, you know what? Out of the blue, this guy was without job, right? In January, I think he lost his job. Manchester United obviously fired him. Let's actually go back a little bit, right? And let's go back in time. Last Amorim press conference, Man United, obviously. I don't want to go back in time, but let's do it. Look at this. So it was on the back of the draw against who? After the game against who? Let's see. Leeds, right? So it was an away game. They were playing, Manchester United was playing Leeds, and after this game, it was January 4th. Look at this. I remember actually this was like, I think I was going on vacation to Egypt around this time, and I remember that I was already fed up with Manchester United by that time, because basically with Amorim and with Manchester United, I was so fed up. So basically the situation is that I remember when he was appointed, it was November, I think, right? Let's actually also check this information. When Amorim was appointed as Man United manager or head coach. This is one important thing that I want to mention, right? Manager and head coach, because let's separate those, and we're going to talk about what's difference between head coach and manager. Very shortly, we're going to talk about this. 1 second. Let me use everything I have today, like in terms of my setup. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay, also let me really? Really, they have this option? Oh, okay. Okay, so I wasn't really prepared for today's stream. Okay, so everything is like everything is happening real time. And I like it like this, to be honest. You know what? So it's how it's going to be. We're not preparing for anything specifically, but we are ready for everything. And let me actually, I need a driver for this thing. And where is this download center? Select product series. I think this is one. Oh my goodness. I don't really. Is there a name of this model somewhere? Creative tablet. HS611. Oh my goodness. Do they have this? HS611. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm really kind of, let me not say sorry for anything. Oh, look at this. This is it. Okay, this is it. Windows driver. No, we need this. So what I was saying, right? We definitely need to figure out, we need to be on the same page about certain things, right? Because this is not just some random stream, quick stream. We're going to deep dive. Okay, we're going to analyze this situation. We're going to find some answers. We're going to analyze. +7. I'm sorry, I'm not answering any calls right now. I'm on a mission. I'm really on a mission right now, okay? So what I need right now is to open a driver and basically just make my board work, okay? That's what I need. And we're gonna allow this tablet some access so I can use it, okay? Because if I cannot use it, okay, there you go. Look at this, how beautiful that is. This is so beautiful. I swear to God. On my mama. Nope. Sorry. We ain't taking any calls right now. We on a stream. on a stream of consciousness. Wait a second, but oh, there you go, redo. And also, I really wanna, yeah, we don't need thick strokes today. I wanna be forgotten, and I don't wanna be reminded. Okay, no strokes. So what's happening, right? So we have a manager versus head coach. So let's talk about this. Basically, what is a manager and what is a head coach? From what I learned watching football, studying football, analyzing football, a manager would be someone like Sir Alex. And I'm not saying just about his trophy room cabinet, okay? This is not about it. We are only right now talking about power. Okay? So meaning like what this person can do at the club. Okay? Sir Alex, I would say he's a manager. He was a manager. Why? Because we all know that he was working only with one person, and it was David Gill. I'm talking about later stages because I became a fan in 2006. Okay, David Gill, right? Together, they were two people who were making all decisions, basically, right? They were the only people who were making decisions at the club. Like, who do you want to buy? Of course, they were, let's say, they had Glazers, right? We still have them, but now we also have minority owners. So Glazers, for example, meet with David Gill, right? Or maybe they meet sometimes. Glazer family. Okay, and this is where money comes from, basically. So they meet with, let's say, David Gill, probably, right? Or they call him on the phone. And he tells them, we found a player that we want to sign. Give us money or something like this. Glazer are like, okay. And who was behind this thing, right? Sir Alex, David Gill, they're scouting players. They have the final say, right? So they only know who they want to sign. And okay, scouts, of course, they give them let's say the rundown or the short list, and they picking from it, right? But basically, in terms of hierarchy, it was non-existent. We had just owners, one phone call away, one meeting away from them was Sir Alex. In between was David Gill, right? That's how the club was structured, was set up. So obviously, Sir Alex had also his say in academy situation, right? And transfers. Needless to say that all these appointments of staff, right? Coaching staff, it was also Sir Alex. So basically, he was like a king or something. I don't know how to explain it. But he had final say on a lot of things, right? People were presenting him with reports, information, shortlists, and he was calling shots, okay? And so basically we can say that manager is this type of person, right? It's like a more maybe old school model, or maybe in some clubs it was present, okay? In some clubs they had more detailed hierarchy. So obviously, let's say more power. If you're a manager like this, for example, right? Obviously, look at this, all those things, you have the final say. What does it mean to be a head coach, right? Well, you can guess already that if you're a head coach, you have less power, right? And you're making less decisions at the club. So your direct job is just to work with the first team, right? You coach them, you hire the staff also, right? You bring your coaching staff, and you work with talent that you have, basically. And I think in this case, you can give your maybe recommendations, maybe you can list your preferences, right? And also, if you are being asked, you can, let's say, give your 2 cents on a player that they want to sign, for example. By they, who I'm talking about. Obviously, there is a CEO, right? There is a sporting director. And we are not talking about also people who are doing PR, who are doing other things, financial, CFO, right? All those people. And then you have owners also, like let's say owners, CEO, sporting director, right? And then you have also this executives, execs. And only after it, you have a coach, head coach. So basically, this is very important, okay? Later, it will be very important. And also, let's be real. Let's read the news. Amorim appointed Man United manager. Let's find this news from way back. I mean, already we have, if you're paying attention, we already have what we're looking for, right? Look at this. United appoint official Manchester United website. News from 1st November 24. Okay, look at this. Manchester United, appoint Amorim as new head coach. Look at this. Okay, do you remember this? So this is the job that he's getting. Okay, he's not getting this. Okay, that's what he signs up for. Okay, when Amorim gets a phone call from whoever's calling him, Berada, maybe, I don't know, he's getting this job. Okay, he's being a head coach of Man United. He's not appointed as a manager. Okay, he's getting head coach job. 1st November 24. Okay, so look at this. He will join until June 2027 with a club option of additional year. Once he has fulfilled his obligations to his current club, he will join Manchester United on Monday, 11 November, because he was still at Sporting. He left mid-season. Kind of in the beginning of season, to be honest, because it's August, September, October, November, right? So 4 months in, he's leaving Sporting after a good run in Champions League, after good results in Liga. Ruben is one of the most exciting and highly rated young coaches in European football. This is not a lie. When he was appointed, 2024, that was exactly how the situation was. So there is no hype, no something. That's exactly how things were. However, his experience was at Braga, Sporting, and also club in Saudi, not maybe even less than a year or something. And he was assistant coach also, obviously. And he had a bunch of pictures and recommendations from Jose Mourinho, for example, etc. And besides that, he had nothing. I mean, no experience and no trophies, nothing. Like only a trophy with Portuguese league. Highly decorated as both a player and a coach. Well, who was Ruben Amorim as a player? You can go back, watch his games. Let's say when I was watching Manchester United play him in Champions League, we played a Portuguese team. Maybe it was Braga, actually. I don't remember, but we were playing them in Champions League or in European competition when Sir Alex still was at the club, and we bopped them. I mean, and Amorim was just running there. Like, he's the type of player you forget he's on the pitch, basically, right? Maybe he's doing a lot of good things, but you forget that he's playing, basically, okay? Obviously, he played for Portugal national team also, so it means that his level was enough, let's say, to get a call from national team. However, right, still we can say that he was not really like that guy, you know? He was not. Let's be real. As a player. Okay, his title include winning Primera twice in Portugal with Sporting, the first of which was the club's first title in 19 years. So they highlighted, right? So because the draw in terms of main trophy, Premiership trophy with Manchester United, it's also long. It's a long drought. Ruud van Nistelrooy will continue to take charge team until Ruben joins. So Ruud actually had good run of games, I remember, right? But it was basically in the start of November. Until 11th, he was the head coach. And then he didn't stay at the club, right? Because Ruben, his condition was that he's bringing all his coaching stuff from Sporting with him. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to navigate everything. Okay, can we do it like this? Oh, perfect. Trusted Portuguese assistant, Carlos Fernandes. Vital. This name appeared later. Oh, in press conference, obviously, he name dropped this guy. Okay, so this is his coaching staff. My guess is all these guys are gonna join him. Okay. First team coaches, Adelio Candido. Okay, so this guy was coaching soccer players. And he's 29 years old, by the way. Okay. Look at this. He's still in Manchester. Wow. Interesting. Beautiful wife. There you go. There you go. Jose. So all people who were in black shorts in Emerim also, they were his coaching staff. And my assumption is that all these people are coming with him to Milan. But it's just a segue. But I'm just saying that this guy is 29 years old. He's assistant manager, okay? So, and he was coaching like players who basically, he looks like this. He's 29 years old. And he was coaching Casemiro. I'm sorry, but like he was coaching Casemiro, bro. Who looks like this. Who won five Champions Leagues. Okay. 3 La Ligas. Copa America he won with Brazil. So this guy his age is 34 years old, okay? So he's 5 years older than Adelio, okay? And Adelio was coaching Casemiro. Okay, that's just a segue. Okay, so basically, right? Or Amorim appointed. Where is this? Maybe we'll watch this later, but I'm sure that Sky, they don't give any insights. They just like state the fact, the obvious. Okay, so basically, right, what's the point here? The point that I was trying to make is that this is his coaching staff. And if we go back, all right, again, here it says it's a link, it's official website of Manchester United, right? He was appointed as head coach in November 2024, okay, with his coaching staff, with all these people who we just looked at. Amorim flies to Manchester in November, okay, and he starts working there as a head coach, okay, head coach. And this is already something interesting. Look at this. He has since moved on, was appointed as a manager of AC Milan. Manager, okay, here is manager. Here is Manchester United head coach. Milan, it says manager, but we will see it later. We will read this news later. Milan. Let's not say manager, let's just say like this. Oh, look at this. Interesting. Okay, we'll do the deep dive later. Let's watch this, okay? So this is Ruben Amorim still being a head coach of Manchester United, and it's January 4th after a draw, January 4th, 2026, this year. And this is his first full season that he started with summer, with preseason. So basically, second season, right? And he gives press conference after away draw with Leeds.
I think the performance was just a few days after the watch.
I think we did well. We improved a lot of things that compared to the last game. We controlled quite well the aggressivity of the offensive from Leeds. We controlled well 1-against-1. A really good environment, a really fun environment, and they did well. We controlled more the possession, the connection, the position of
really funny environment.
The players, I think, they were in the better positions to play, and that can show in the way we played. We had more chances than the opponent to score, but we need to now to think about the next one.
In terms of Joshua Zirkzee and Messias being the assistant goal, how important do you think both of them, especially with the creative players you have at?
It's really important. I think Ben improved in the connection today. Josh, the 20 minutes that he played, he was active. He was creating chances, creating spaces for us. So it's important. Also, Manu played better today and helped the team also to create chances. Was better than last week.
Okay, so the first question is just about the game, basically, right? Second question is about substitutions, about attacking group, about Zirkzee, and about Šeško. Then there is another chunk of press conference, and he's talking about Šeško, and then he's like does like, you know, a support of Zirkzee, like because someone probably like tried to ask some uncomfortable question, and this is where the part that we came for starts.
Difficult moments this season. You're always very upbeat.
Okay, let's go with question also. Let's listen to your question.
Last question for James.
Ruben, even in difficult moments this season, you're always very upbeat. Obviously, just on Friday, you look pretty downbeat. You obviously talk about transfers and systems. Can I just ask, is nothing's changed? You still feel very much that confidence from the board and everything? So
the question was about like why you're so sad, basically, right? Are you still confident? What about the board? Are they still backing you? That's the question.
guys, to stop with that, and I noticed that you receive selective information about everything. I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach of Manchester United.
And this is a soundbite, okay? Because this is very frustrating. And here it will be very difficult to figure out exactly why he said what he said, right? So here we have to be in the back rooms. We have to be there, you know, like fly on the wall. We have to have sources to understand why he said that he came to be manager when 2 years ago, when he signed in November, it said that he is appointed as a head coach. And right now we need to play this boom sound. Where is it? Have you heard this? Did you hear it? No, probably you don't. Wait a second. How do you audio capture? Wait a second. Okay, I don't want to get lost in OBS right now. Okay, so this is audio from the... I think I just doubled the audio. Yeah, I think so. This is really good vibes today outside, to be honest. I can hear people are laughing. My windows are open because it's very hot. It's so good when this vibe is outside. Okay, but today we are not going to join the vibe yet. Okay, we're doing this research, and unfortunately I cannot play this boom sound. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I know how to play it. Wait. Yeah? Yeah. So my question is why he says that he came to be a manager if he was appointed as a head coach in November. Okay?
And that is clear. I know that my name is not Tuchel, is not Conte, is not Mourinho, but I'm the manager of Manchester.
Look at this. So his name dropping all this. So he's pissed, basically. Okay? He's crashing out. Even though he's not breaking windows or screens, okay? You can see that he's crashing out there. Okay? He is having a meltdown in 4K there at this press conference. Because basically he's saying that I deserve to be the manager. He's saying, you know. But bro, you've been signed as a head coach. So what happened? Maybe they fed you different French. They tricked you or something. I'm not really sure. Have you read the statement when you signed?
United. And it's going to be like this for 18 months, or when the board decided to change.
And this is very frustrating because this is not the first time. I remember it clearly because at some point I started paying attention to what he's saying in press conferences, just like with Ten Hag at some point, because obviously he was just like, he was talking out of his ass. Like, let's be real. So the issue here is that he's saying again, let me stop the timer for this game because second half is about to start, but we have 60 something. I forgot to stop the timer. So the weird situation basically is that obviously he was appointed as head. He's like, he wants to quit. You see, he's saying like, I want to quit. reading between the lines, obviously, right? What he's saying that I'm going to be a manager of this team, and that's how it's going to be for 18 months. And then if they decide to change, and by that time already, he said basically, it was not the first time he said something like this. Okay, he been saying those things, and it was so frustrating to listen to this because, come on, like, what is this? Like, what's the point of you repeating this? Like, because there is no point repeating that same idea that, yeah, I mean, we all know that when the board decides to change, they will change. But like, why are you saying it to the journalists, and why are you crashing out like in 4K live in front of the cameras? That was so frustrating because basically he was asking out. Like, he was like asking, like, come on, like, fire me, please fire me. The game started. And it was like, I had no pity for him also because of the results on the pitch, okay? So I hope that some Milan fans are watching this. Let's continue. And will watch it, hopefully.
So that was my point. I want to finish with that. I'm not going to quit. I will do my job until...
I'm not going to quit, read in between the lines. Basically, I will not resign. You will have to, like, you know, tolerate my presence at the club, and I'm gonna make you suffer because that's what I like.
Our guy is coming here to replace me.
When I say that's what I like, I'm kind of quoting Emery.
Do you feel that, you know, maybe certain assurances around things about the ability to manage this team that you thought you had? Do you not feel that?
I just want to say that I'm going to be the manager of this team, not just the coach, and I was really clear on that. And that is going to finish in 18 months, and then everyone is going to move on. That was the...
Again, he's basically saying that I'm gonna exercise more power, okay, at the club, and you're gonna have to deal with it, basically. That's what he's saying to the media.
Deal. That is my job, not to be a coach.
He's supposed to say that directly to his superior, okay, in the structure. He was supposed to say that to CEO of the club or to sporting director, okay, but he's saying it to the media.
If people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticisms of everything, we need to change the club. No, guys, I just want to say...
If people can handle criticism of Gary Neville. But at this point, it was not... Maybe Gary Neville at this point was defending you already, you know? Because the things were not going well, to put it mildly, okay? And what he's basically insinuating is that, like, I have a vision, you have to back me, give me more power, okay? And we're gonna have success, but when? Well, I don't really know when, but we're gonna have success, okay? And that's basically was his sentiment.
That I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months, and then we move on.
Right, thank you, guys. Thank you. When you appointed David French as head coach?
Basically, he crashed out, right? He left. It was the last question, to be fair. He didn't storm out, but he was like, ah. And that's Amorim in a nutshell, okay? And this is Amorim when things are not going too well. That's how he behaves, basically, okay? So you can judge it from any perspective. Like, you can judge it from, forget that it's a football team, that it's sport, like, think of it like as just a working environment, right? So you have a worker, basically, right, that behaves like this in situations when it's tough a little bit, and then when you analyze, when you ask questions, why the things are tough, right? Because he's reacting to the pressure that's being applied to him because of the bad results. But who was responsible for these bad results? Okay, not Rashford, not Ugarte, okay, not Sancho, not Garnacho, other players who left the club. It was Ruben Amorim who was responsible because he signed up for the job of a head coach, okay, in November 2024 for Manchester United. and he had very poor results. That's hence the pressure mounted, right? And he started to crash out. And that's just how he behaves, basically, when things are not going too well. Okay, so let's continue. So now let's basically read the fast forward to now, right? Then he was, after this, he was fired, basically. January 4th. Let's see when Amorim left Manchester United. Look at this. Next day he was fired. "63 games with 24 wins, 18 draws, and 21 losses." I'll let you be the judge of his results. I'll just give you the picture, right? Like what was happening there. Came less than 24 hours at his final match, one away draw, 1-1 away draw against Leeds. And heated post match. We just watched that heated part. Okay, we just watched it. Okay, so fast forward to now. The news broke out, right? AC Milan appointed Ruben Amorim as the new head coach. After maybe a year, half a year, right? 6 months or something. He's going back and he starts being a head coach or manager. We're going to figure that out later. As at Milan. Okay, so we already have this video. Just briefly watch it.
Experience when it comes to the depth of years he's been doing it. If you kind of think
he's 41. He's 41. He's basically Modric's age.
Yeah, 2019, I think he's been coaching.
Yeah, 2018-2019 season. Yeah, that's right.
So he's obviously Braga, Sporting, Man United, which we can probably delve into more so probably Sporting and United.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting appointment. And now I can't really give an answer right now on it without the rest of the chips unfolding. You know, the director of football and all those other positions that need to be filled, which you'd like to think would have been done prior to Amorim coming in. Like, I mean, I've gone past the point of knowing how this management thinks, because all that's left is Cardinal and Ibra, and I mean, I'm still just not convinced on the project. But
okay,
I mean, we're going to talk more about Amorim today, but I'm still just not really like we've spoken about in previous weeks. Like, I'm not sat here going like most optimistic way going Amorim's going to be the fixer. Like, it's still just I just feel like there's a lot of risk here across everything.
Mate, 100%. I think it would be remiss if I touched on it very quickly. Although I agree, I think we want to focus solely on Amorim because there's so much that will still come out. I don't even want to talk about the Rocha, however you say it, the German guy. It's not even about the individuals. It's how, like you said, Steph, how they're going about this. You know, I don't think the man matters. We said this in the last episode. Like, whoever it is, it doesn't really matter because you're waiting for the structure and how they've gone about again targeting. Getting Amorim, if they think he's the right man or not, is just so backward. It just shows inexperience and it shows a lack of conviction. They're doing it in such a corporate way, acting like a big company that's interviewing all the candidates, and just it doesn't seem to be a huge stream of understanding. Not that we're seeing anyway. So I agree with you. It's difficult to get behind the appointment, irrespective of his positive and or negative experiences as a coach. It's really hard for us to kind of sit here as any Milan fan And I think there's a really good quote. I believe Fabrizio Romano said this, so I'm sorry if it is the case because that guy's so annoying. But I think there's a really good statement before we go on to Amorim in detail, which is being a Milan fan today is an act of faith that goes beyond rationality, because ultimately that's where we're at, because we haven't got like a strategy or pillars in place where we've got like governance of like a normal organization. It's just whatever. So yeah, wait and see. But yeah, going back to
Okay,
specifically
so
about his performance.
they're just freestyling it,
you
right?
just said he started in 2018. He's 41.
There is no idea
Halfway
behind this
Braga,
appointment
Sporting Manchester United. You look at that and you
from
think,
his based on
wow,
his
he's achieved
words.
a hell of a lot in what 8-9 years of coaching. That's incredible. That is actually incredible. So let's not get it twisted. Again, we're going to try and focus solely on the Amorim appointment, the formation he might be playing, the players in a moment, etc., etc. Have we got him on board, Steph, a couple of years ago? You and I we would genuinely have been sitting here going, "That's incredible."
I mean, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, when Manchester United went for him, that would be I mean, everyone would applaud. Everyone would have applauded Milan for this, because everyone applauded Manchester United for appointing this coach, manager, how he calls himself.
Prospect that Liverpool, Manchester City, and United all wanted. But now we're sitting here after that Manchester United experience with a slight, again, irrespective of the governance stuff that all sits behind it, let's just focus solely on the Amorim appointment with question marks on his capability to coach the team, right? So, yeah, how are you thinking purely on him as a potential the caretaker of our club for the time being?
Yeah. No, I think when it comes to appointing head coaches, I don't believe there is a rhythm and a route like that measures that equals success. So you bring a head coach in, whether they've been successful in their recent, couple of months, recent last appointment, or not successful. I don't think it equates to anything. I fully believe right now, where it's in particular in a day and age where the project needs to support the coach to allow for it all to unlock. Now, if you look at like Manchester United, which we'll probably touch on a little bit, it didn't. Now, is it going to change at Milan? I mean, there's probably no evidence for it that to be the case. But if we're just looking at the evidence of like historical success, and people want to meme about Amorim and his time at Manchester United, I mean, the reality is, like, if you look at Iraola, who went to Liverpool, who was the first coach who.
Why these guys have a British accent? Are they Spanish, really? Or
targeted
Italian? Disculpa.
And a lot of us were quite hopeful for because of his brand of football and the fact that Bournemouth were doing quite successful, despite their spending and there's probably their pedigree in terms of where they fit in the Premier League and overachieving. Is Iraola going to be guaranteed success? Probably not so much as well, to the same degree. And the same way, if you look back historically, when we brought Carlo Ancelotti on, he didn't set the world alight previously at Juventus. He was probably deemed as someone who underachieved there. So I don't think there's, like, before we get into the depth of Amorim and his history, more so people want to meme at Manchester United, I don't think necessarily his negative impact that he had at Manchester United is going to exactly correlate to his time at Milan. Now, that being said, the similarity is the project, as I've mentioned, and this is my worry about the appointment. Now, before we get into like his tactics and how he was successful at Sporting, my worry about like Amorim here is outside of the way his style of play, he's effectively moving from one shit project to another. And now United have obviously cleaned things up there. They brought Carrick on and it's stabilized the project there. But it shows an element of like, how much support behind the coach is there to allow him to, express himself from a brand of football way of playing, which he clearly got at Sporting Lisbon, despite the fact that they were kind of more of a selling club. I'm kind of going off a bit of a tangent here between Manchester.
No, that's interesting, actually, that he says it, right? He said, who are a selling club. What does it mean, Sporting are a selling club? It means that they're like not a farm club, but Sporting are really good at selling talent to bigger leagues, bigger teams, okay? And what does it mean? It doesn't mean that they're not going to compete for titles. They will. But it tells you a lot of things. It tells you, like, if you're a selling club, but you are able to win Portuguese ligas, what is the level of this league, first of all? And second of all, is that if you're a selling club, it means you are okay with changes, like big changes. What does it mean to be a selling club? It means, like, for example, Premier League, right? January, City went for Guehi and Semenyo. They went to Crystal Palace and Bournemouth respectively, and they just snatched their best probably players. So in this case, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, you can say that they're selling clubs. Are they competing for title? No, because they're a selling club, right? So they're okay with selling their best players, maybe even mid-season, and just replacing it because they have already someone on the list, maybe, you know, or maybe they have someone in reserves who's ready to step in. But that's how these clubs that need to sell, that how they behave. Like, for example, a club like Milan, yeah, they had some kind of situation. I heard, I'm not following Milan, so that's why, hence, why we're doing this stream. I'm doing the stream to understand what the hell is going on, like why Milan appointed this guy. But basically, you cannot really compete in the top leagues for biggest trophies if you're a selling club, if that makes sense. Okay, Bayern is not a selling club. Okay, Bayern are purchasing. If anything, they're purchasing talent from lesser clubs. Real Madrid, they're purchasing talent. Okay. Yeah, they get rid of players, but if something goes very wrong, or when they already kind of use them at their peak, and and they just move them on, like Casemiro, for example. I mean, who would have known that he has more gas in the tank? And Casemiro, he gave Manchester United amazing seasons, to be honest. Last season was amazing season, but this season, his first season was a great season also. So anyway, the point is that what I'm trying to make, right? The point I'm trying to make is that if you're a Milan, you are in the conversation when you talk about Italian biggest teams. Milan is there, okay? But right now, obviously, it's not for them time to talk about Serie A title. However, historically and just in general, they will be in this conversation, okay? And the fans are expecting trophies. I'm sure that Milan fans, they are not happy with the 5th finish. I mean, reasonable fans, they may understand why they finished 5th, right? But I'm sure that they want more. I'm sure that they want trophies. Just because what type of club Milan is, with what type of heritage, what type of history, okay? So for sport, like last season, when Emery was appointed at Sporting, I think he sold 11 players and bought 10 players or something like this. So basically, he changed the whole team, at least one team, right? Because usually in a club you have at least 22 players. You need to have like 2 teams basically for rotation reasons. So when he came to Sporting, he basically changed everything. And he picked players who were okay or who fit his system. Because he's the type of coach who has his idea in his head, okay? And he just wants to implement it. And he needs players who will fit his idea, okay? It's the type of coach he is. He's not the type of coach who will come to the team, like, do a audit of talent and conjures up and just creates a magic system that fits the talent that he has. No, he has an idea and he wants to play according to his idea. And in order to do that, you need to get rid of a lot of players and bring a lot of other players, okay? So I don't know what's the financial situation of Milan right now, but from what I understand, they're not, on oil money or something like this. And they're not Real Madrid either. So what the hell they're going to do with this coach? My question is.
United and Sporting, but I'm trying to articulate the point that like all of this really means like all this hypothesis of how we deem is going to how he's going to perform is probably irrelevant until we know how it all constructs itself. But
okay, and that's when it stopped. Okay, to be honest, I didn't want to watch. I had no plans watching it, but I saw it here and I wanted to click because it says Sempre Milan, which means that there are like Milan fans. Let's read official statement. So right now, question still stands. I have no answers. This is official statement. Head coach. Okay. Head coach. Not a manager, but a head coach. It looks horrible, by the way, this drawing right now. It looks like, oh my goodness. What the hell? I used to use this one. Oh no. Oh no. It's not good. Oh no. I'm just messed up, seriously. I just wanted to add a backdrop. And from what I remember, this one is better actually. Notifications pop up. Maybe it's just my writing, my handwriting. I mean, it's slightly better, right? So in a nutshell, again, more power, right? Less power. And obviously reports, right? Reports. And asks basically, right? For permission. And this one just calling the shots, right? With sporting director / CEO. That's how Mourinho, when he was at Chelsea, that's how Sir Alex was moving when he was at Manchester United, right? They had just one person, a mediator between owners, and who basically was more business savvy, more like, finance, economics, whatever you want to call it. And you had a sporting, basically, person who was about sport, or who was about football, right? It was Sir Alex and Mourinho. They knew how to make teams win trophies, basically. Okay, so let's continue reading this. Amorim began his coaching career. Okay, this is like backstory. He most recently served as head coach of Manchester United before joining AS Milan. Nothing about his results. Look at this. Innovation, player development, playing identity, strong playing identity. Too strong because no flexibility in his style. We have tracked Ruben for years and his sporting tenure is extremely impressive and reflects the style of play that we are looking for. No midfield, just wing backs, like laterals, like those wing players who's moving the ball. He's one of the most prepared and innovative coaches of the new European generation, young, ambitious with a modern footballing identity defined by dominating games in possession, a modern pressing system, and a clear tactical approach. High press attacking football with quick transition that enable greater goal scoring. His philosophy aligns perfectly with our vision, while his leadership qualities and track record in developing players stood out to us. We believe in Ruben and we're excited to welcome him to the club. Wow. There are ambitions that stay with you throughout your career, and coaching AC Milan has always been one of mine. Not dreams, but ambitions, okay? I know exactly what this club means. History, prestige, and extraordinary fan base around the world. It's a challenge I embrace with pride and enthusiasm, fully aware of what these colors represent. I can't wait to get started and to experience every day the passion that drives AC. Passion, passion, passion. Bro, what about results? What about, you know, some executive, right? Oh, she's a coach. Female team probably, right? He's coach. Maybe she's a coach and staff member. I don't know. Maybe she's working with the first team, with men's. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't matter to our topic here right now. Okay, so let's see what else do we have here. We gotta go here, okay? We gotta go here. We gotta go here. Rashford dilemma. I made a video like this. Okay, so very sarcastic. I mean, Reddit, it's so like sarcastic, and at the same time it lacks insight so much. Just a bunch of sarcasm, double sarcasm. Okay. Okay, that's a good, interesting start. Recent reports suggest that AC Milan have appointed Ruben as your new head coach. While the signs have been there for a few days, I imagine I'm still surprised for many fans. Judging by some of the discussions I have seen, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty. As someone who watched Amorim's entire spell, I wanted to give some context why he struggled and his team's play and why you could realistically expect from him. First of all, Ruben Amorim is not a bad manager, quite the opposite. He is an excellent coach who has dealt an incredibly difficult. Oh my goodness. It's a bad start. Sorry. I thought it's an interesting start. Now it's a bad start. United appointed Amorim in November 2024, midway through the season when he was one of the most highly rated young managers in Europe. This was shortly after Amorim and Sporting had schooled Pep Guardiola's. Okay, yeah, they won against them in Champions League. But they scored 2 penalties, I think. Joker scored 2 penalties. So how many open play goals were scored? Some of them in transition, probably. The important thing to understand is that Amorim never wanted to join in the middle of the season. Implementing an entirely new system and philosophy halfway. I mean, he stayed and he had a preseason, so he had a summer. So what's the deal? However, the United board reportedly gave him an ultimatum. It is now or never. So he came. Pause. His style of play. The first thing Milan fans need to understand is that Amorim will not compromise on his system. I mean, this is a fact. He's not the type of coach who abandons his principles because the results become difficult. His entire philosophy revolves around specific structure and specific player profiles. That's it. He already telling them, I mean, hinting that you will have to get players. You have to bring players. So do you have finances, Milan? Do you have money to bring players that Amorim wants? If he does not get the players he needs, the team will struggle. This is a fact. Okay? This is opinion, but this is a fact. This is a fact. His preferred shape is a back 3 that becomes a back 5 when defending. True. In possession, the 3 center backs form the foundation of the build-up. The wing backs, love female referees at games. Czech, South Africa, they have a female referee. Oh my god, they should just bring all female referees. It's so exciting to watch. The players interact with the female referee in a different manner, I gotta tell you. They're being more polite, actually. It feels like it. It seems like it. Okay, his preferred shape is the wing backs push very high and provide most of the team's width. And they move around the most. And the type of wingbacks that he wants, I mean, how many players like this are actually on the market? This is a good question. Maybe you can build a player like this on demand from academy, right? But it will take you like years. I mean, is he going to have those years at Milan? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Progression and chance creation, wingbacks again. Everything comes from wingbacks in his system. Many attacks develop through wide areas before crosses are delivered into the box. For this, you need a lethal finisher. I don't know about this. Jokeres, is he a lethal finisher? I don't know. He's a very specific type of forward, for sure. But is he lethal? I don't know. From penalty spot, maybe. When attacks move through central areas, Amorim likes his striker to drop deeper, hold the ball up, and create space for attacking midfielders or wide forwards to run into and have spaces. So, these things already, they make no sense. Okay, I don't know who that person is. Too fast, too serious. I mean, his stat is, I mean, there you go. Experienced user, let's say. But I think these top two takes, they contradict each other. Because if you need a lethal finisher in the box, then like, wait a second, this same lethal finisher in the box needs to drop deeper, hold the ball up, create space for attacking midfield. No, it's already a different type of player. So you need him to be like a finisher 9, classic 9, Haaland type, but also you need him to be a hold-up player and a link-up. What do you mean, like, excuse me? Out of possession, the wing, again, like, maybe it's possible, but think about it. How many players are like this? Like Zlatan, for example, right? Do we have strikers that are like Zlatan right now? Who can link up, hold the ball, technical dribblers a little bit, but also can just like mash up and can just like, you know, score mad goals. So again, we already have two, according to this person, of course, right? Just according to this person, but he says that it's like a good coach, right? He's a good coach. His system already, he says he will not compromise on his system, right? And his system requires already 2 profile type of players who are very, very rare on the market. Out of possession, the wingbacks drop deeper and the team becomes compact back 5. The striker, so basically imagine how much legs these wingbacks need if they're going to be attacking all the time. But then they're going to run back and defend also. Again, it's what type of player is that, right? Who can do both equally good. The three most important positions. In our system, no positions are more important than the left wing back, right wing back, and defensive midfielder. Because he's basically a distributor, I would say, right? He's gonna... But I would say that in this system, CB can be a distributor and regista. Wingbacks. The wingbacks are absolutely crucial. Okay, so think of players such as... Okay, he describes the profiles. Milan cannot sign anyone from this list. Can they build someone like this? Maybe, yes. But how much time will it take? Again, right? Defensive midfielder. What? I mean, this one, okay, I kind of agree, but this? Excuse me? Look at this. I was looking, I forgot where the camera is. Look at this. Do you see this shit? If no, we didn't. We never looked outstanding with Amorim. I'm sorry, no. Maybe in Europe. In Europe, we were fighting, right? And that's why we made it to the final. But outstanding, I'm sorry, no, it was not the case. Outstanding, like what is outstanding? It's like when Manchester City, Manchester United, that game from January when Carrick was appointed, that was outstanding performance. With Amorim, it was never outstanding. With Amorim, it was if we get lucky in the first minutes and score first, or for example, if the opposition get a red card or we get a penalty, we score one goal and we defend the one goal, like difference. We protect it. And then we concede probably because the defensive shape it's foreign to the players. This is very important also, like, yes, he has the idea, he has the system, but can players actually play this system? Can they understand this system, and can they like consume and buy into this system? That's a huge question, because the players are the ones that are winning your games, okay? And if they don't understand your requirements, if you don't understand your demands, and if coach overcomplicating things, then it's going to be a disaster, because they will be thinking or confused, either they're going to rebel against the coach but then they get benched, right? They lose the position. Or the South Africa shooting a penalty. Or they will be just overthinking on the pitch and it will be not good. So I don't see anything good about this. Athletic. Of course, because you got to run so much in this system, because it's a stupid system. If you have to run all the time so much, it's a stupid system. I'm sorry. But it does make sense. If you're pressing high, like Barca does, that's one thing. But Barca's scoring goals, right? It's working there. But if you just have to run a lot and maybe you get a result, it's a stupid system. South Africa 1-1. No, I'm a little bit ahead of the schedule. Look at this. Oh. Okay, let's get back to this post. Why he failed at Manchester United, right? When Amorim arrived, Ten Hag's Manchester United were already sitting near 14th place. True. He inherited a dysfunctional squad built for a completely different style of football. He openly admitted from. But let's wait a second. So Ten Hag was 14th in November, right? Wait a second. Oh, let's not lose this. When okay, November 4th of November, right? 11th of November he started. He was already working with the first team. So basically November, after 4 months of the season, right? Manchester United were 14th. Let's see Premier League standings. It was season 20, I think, like this, right? Let's take a look. Liverpool won the trophy that year. This is top 4. Where's Manchester United? Look at this. That's where we finished. And the conversation was about relegation, basically. I remember. Okay. So he came in November, right? Amorim to Manchester United as a new manager, head coach, it's very important. And what happened? They finished 15th. He inherited a dysfunctional squad built for a completely different style of football. He openly admitted from day one that the team would suffer during the transition. In his first transfer window, despite trying to implement a new tactical identity, he was given only one signing. Good player. By February, Milan should have signed this player because he was in Lecce in Italy. It tells you something probably about Milan. By February, United's league season was effectively over. By February, United's league season was effectively over. But whose responsibility was that? Think about it. Carrick came in January, mid-January, right? You can say that he came in February. Why not, right? You can say. And let's see. No, let's not lose this. Premier League, Man United league position when Carrick took over. 7th place. I mean, it's not that bad, right? 7th place, but we finished 3rd. He had less time. Amorim took over when the team was 14th in the table, and he finished 15th. Carrick was appointed. Team was 7th. They finished 3rd. Just the perspective, right? Just to put things into perspective. Without comparing the coaches, obviously. Okay, by February, United's league season was officially over. So why it was over? Because Amorim was not a good coach, okay? That's why it was over. Because if you're a good coach, you come to the team, it doesn't matter when, January, February, you improve the position, okay? You improve either play, either the atmosphere in the dressing room, you improve on the pitch, you improve results, something will improve if you're a good coach, okay? The Europa League became the club's only realistic path back into the Champions League. And we didn't exercise that right because he lost to Tottenham in the final of Europa League because he hesitated to introduce attacking footballers. Can you imagine that? When we were losing already to Spurs, he didn't go like completely. He didn't risk anything. We lost that game to fucking Tottenham. Can you imagine that? Once relegation was mathematically impossible and league objectives had disappeared, Amorim prioritized Europe. Kind of true. But also in general, we were just better in Europe because it's a less demanding league compared to Premier League. A less demanding tournament compared to the Premier League. Throughout March, April, and May, academy players were regularly starting the league, and it was a horrible also experience. And he was hesitating with academy players because female referee, it's like your mom telling you off. Players are like, what? This is so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Europa League became the club's only realistic path back into Champions League. Once relegation was mathematically impossible, he prioritized Europe. Throughout March, April, academy players not this. I disagree with this. This is not true. He was hesitating, bringing in players, rightfully so, because we were shaking those games. Like, I remember when we were introducing, like with Ferguson, he was risking sometimes, right? He was bringing players when we needed to score. Like we were searching for a goal, we were chasing a goal, and he introduced young players, and they were able to just like perform, in those games. And also he was bringing the youngsters when we were winning already, when the situation was, when the stakes were not that high, just to not traumatize these young guys, okay? And that's why he hesitated. He also hesitated for the same reason. So I don't understand this sentiment. He was irregularly starting. Who was that? The final league, who is he talking about? The final league position does not tell the full story. More importantly, he never received the players his system required. I mean, because he didn't show any results. How can you give money to a guy who's like not showing you anything? Like, what's the point of that? Just like blindly trust in him and just give him money? Manchester United never done something like this. Never. We never had clear outs where we were selling like 8 players, bringing like 10 players. It's a different type of club, okay? Maybe Sporting can do that. At right wing, he often relied on Amad Diallo, originally a winger, or Diogo Dalot, and it was horrible, okay? This was horrible decisions. This was very bad because Dalot in the attack, he cannot do it, okay? He's a classic right back or left back. He can play both, but he's a classic defensive guy, okay? He's not gonna score you goals or like, do the link ups or overlap or something. No. Because there are very few players like this, like Nuno Mendes, okay? Not everyone is Nuno Mendes. He's the only one. At left wing back, he had an experienced Patrick Dorgu, an injury-prone Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw, surprised he played every game this season, okay? Or Dalot playing out of position. And he also trashed Dorgu. He shitted on him publicly during press conferences. He said that he was anxious. The player that he allegedly brought, he was given, okay? That's good. That's good that he was given. That's good that he had no power to actually bring players that he needed, because I don't want to even imagine what type of players he would have brought. At defensive midfield, Casemiro remained the closest fit for the role, but physically he was no longer capable again. Why he was physically no longer capable? Because Amorim's system ignored the talent that we had. Okay? He just wanted to play what he wanted to play, and he blatantly ignored what our players were good at. Okay? Things became even worse when Rasmus Højlund struggled in front of goal and Adrian Onana continued making costly mistakes. True. But Rasmus always struggled. I don't think he had a season where he didn't struggle, especially in Premier League. With him, it was always struggle. Lisandro Martinez, the team's best ball-playing defender, spent much of his season injured. Harris struggled to play high line, often leaving large spaces in front of the back line and exposing Casemiro. That was very true. Nasty, by the way. We conceded so many goals like this. True. That is not a lie. But we talked already, right? What are you backing? Show me something to back, okay? I will back if something is, deserves a backing. Emery was not dismissed because the results were terrible. True. The bigger issue, they became increasingly frustrated with the club hierarchy trying to force him to change his system. No one forced him. They suggested him. And by that time, honestly speaking, he should have came to this conclusion already on his own, that it's time to do some changes. Particularly after receiving very little support in the transfer market, eventually that frustration became public. He was fired because of that after this press conference. Look at this. You can only clean if you can buy then. Because if you just clean, who will be playing? Again, all those things. How to explain it briefly, shortly? Like he demands excellence or he demands professionalism. Maybe he's just picking up conflicts with players who are frustrated with his system. Because his system is so difficult, no one can play his system. Maybe that's why players are frustrated and unprofessional. And then at the end of the day, he's a very person, he's not like a diplomat, like he's not a negotiator. He had many conflicts with players. And some players, like, I don't know, didn't deserve this, to be honest with you, okay? When they say they didn't back him, they back him in terms of outgoings. If he didn't like someone, the club basically, listened to him, to Amorim, and they actually offloaded all those players on loan and then permanently. But the reason behind this, it was not because players were poor. Why poor attitude? Why lack of professionalism? Why? Because they were frustrated with his system that he was not willing to change, okay? And the system is difficult to play in. Training standards are non-negotiable. Press conferences are usually honest, direct, often entertaining. Never was entertained. Too honest, this performative honesty that not needed, it's like just shut the hell up, just do your job, okay? And like do not spill the beans to the media. Like, what are you doing? The game ended 1-1. If I was watching the game, just the game on the TV, I would have fallen asleep. I swear to God. I'm going to hide the scoreboard. There will be another game, right? Let's see who's going to be playing next. Switzerland, Bosnia in 1 hour. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to watch it. Maybe it's going to be interesting. I'm pretty sure the game will be interesting because so far the bigger the bigger teams, I mean, Argentina delivered, I guess England delivered, but Brazil, Spain, even France, not really. Okay. All right, so training standards, his press conference usually okay. Most importantly, do not expect immediate miracles. It took months before he began showing consistent signs of Amarin ball. It was haram ball, okay? It was not Amarin ball, it was haram ball. I mean, this is, yeah, that's true. That's not a lie. I mean, everyone hopes because no one is a hater to that point that is like, I wish him to fail. No. Of course, it would be interesting to see if he succeeds, right? It will be good to see if he succeeds. But the damage that he's done already to my club, right? It's and the amount of negative emotions and experiences that he gifted us. I cannot ignore it, right? I forgive him for this, but I cannot ignore what happened, right? And I also cannot forget. So here I'm trying to figure out what the hell is that appointment? What does it mean? Okay, why Milan appointed him? So far, I think I picked the wrong post, but I needed to read it also. Let's read the commentaries now. This was well written and interesting. Thank you. Good luck for next season. What do you think about keeping Carrick? Okay, whatever. Not interesting. Just PC bullshit answer. We have literally nothing that what he requires bar publish. Okay, a little bit of truth bomb. My thoughts exactly. Maybe Sile makers, we need at least 6-7 purchase and almost a complete overhaul. I think he's doomed to fail. Hopefully I'm wrong. Who's Rixie? Oh no, it's a different guy. It's not the OP. This is OP, too fast to choose. Actually, let's read his take on Carrick because I think he's kind of a zombie. This guy is a zombie fan. He's okay and proved his worth, so we need to see him full season. Respect to him, but I don't think he's the one to take us to glory days. Okay, there you go. We needed. This is the guy who believed in Amarim, I think. Largely due to Manchester City and Chelsea shitting the bed in the second half of the season. Oh my god, bro. I have to downvote, sorry. But this type of opinion, this type of takes, they're like so like indoctrinated. I hate this type of takes. This is the type of person who would downvote me for speaking my mind. When it was Amarim tenure, when I was asking for his sack, this is the type of guy who was downvoting me. I'm pretty sure it's the same kind of rhetoric. Okay, what else do we have? I'm just worried because this Milan board has continued to not give managers time transfers needed to succeed. You should be worried if you want good results. If you love your club, then be worried then, because you know what? It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. Wait a second, I'm trying to like lift the camera just a little bit. Maybe like this. Oh my goodness. What are they doing, Milan? My only explanation right now, my only theory, is that they saw what Amorim done at Manchester United, and a lot of people, they say that he basically forced some players to leave the club. Players who were not professional, all this stuff that this guy said. I have my own take, but maybe they looked at it and they thought, you know what? We need to get rid of some players. Let's hire this coach. He will be a disruptor. He will pick up conflicts with some players, and we're gonna move them on, offload them. That's the only idea that I have. Because why else would you bring him? Because he will be a disruptor. I'm pretty sure. Because no one will give him what he wants. The results will be strange. And the question is how much patience Milan fans have. If it's a big club, really, like I think it is, they will not have patience. At this point, any coach that arrives at Milan won't be a popular choice and most likely struggle to get results. I don't think it's a reasonable take. I think it depends on the person, depends on the coach. I will be locked in watching us regardless. Lol, we can play a high defense. We have no strikers who can come deep. And we don't have players to press forward. I expect this appointment to go wonderfully, considering that he will not be backed on the transfer market. Sarcastically, probably. Appreciate the insight. While many Milan supporters didn't want him, now that he's the manager, it's time to support him. I'm fine giving him a second chance. I mean, of course, everyone deserves it. If he has been linked to us during his sporting days, it would have been viewed as a slam dunk hire. Talked about it already. Milan's biggest problem is ownership and lack of cohesion within management. So this is a disaster coach for them right now to hire. Hopefully they figure that out, or else it's going to be awful regardless of Amorim. Ooh, unfortunately, Amorim's adventure will be short because the two incompetent fools, I'm just quoting the person who wrote this, who are managing AC Milan, Jerry Cardinale and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Two people. Are just two people? Really? Well, Zlatan, what is his position at the club, actually? Let's check. Because I heard that he was behind this appointment. Like, he was calling for Amorim. What is his job right now? Senior advisor and operating partner for AC Milan ownership, Redbird Capital and management, focusing on commercial and sporting operations. Sporting director, maybe. Financial director, CFO. Not a CFO, sporting director. Additionally, he's working as a broadcast analyst and pundit. That's frustrating a little bit, right? If you are doing the job, summertime, it's the time of changes and transfers, right? In football. So why are you on a stream with speed? Okay, I mean, figuratively speaking, and also you operating and like, I don't know. Okay, let's go Jerry Cardinale. Gerald Joseph Cardinale is American-Italian businessman. Redbird. doesn't know anything about football. How do you think, guys? Does he know ball, this guy? I have my doubts. Will not give him any time to build the team because they will expect to be fighting for Scudetto. Oh my god, look at this. But the harsh reality is even if Emery would start flawlessly, it would take him at least 3 years. That's very true. To build a team consistently fighting for the title. Jerry's Latin way of thinking is, well, we give you the third, fourth choice for every role, win anyway. And he will not. He will be sacked at best at the end of the season, otherwise he will be Fonseca Part 2 and fired in November. Like, what do you think is more realistic? All good on paper. Problem is the Milan board is most likely even stingier than the United board. Look at this. This is coming from a fan of Milan, okay? This is not coming from me or someone else. These are people who are watching Milan every week. They will not spend a single penny on big names and instead always try to sign over 30 players or players not over 30 million euros. I mean, over 30 years old, probably. Old players or just super cheap players. I think Emery will be even more boxed in here than at United. So the only way how I see it working out, actually, is if Emery basically will just look at those markets that he was looking with Sporting and bring the same players, basically. In this case, maybe it will work because obviously, you know, but if he wants the best, like if Emery wants the best talent for each profile, for each position, I mean, obviously he's not getting it. It's so obvious. And also it's so obvious that he's not going to be even in this discussion probably because he's hired as a head coach once again, okay? That's very important. Can he exercise this power of, you know, picking the players that he wants to bring fully? Head coach. There you go. Yes, very true. Very true. Okay. Yes. Yeah. 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 And that's the basically, how to say, that is the sentiment, right? And that is the case, that will be the case with the most teams. Because either he coaching like a team that is able to do this kind of how to say, not rebuilds, but like clear outs, right? Because in the most of teams, why they don't need a clear out, right? If there are squad players who you are happy with, or at least they're doing their job. Let's say you bring this coach like Emery and he says, you know what, these players, they don't fit my system and I want to play my system. What, you just like get rid of all these players? You don't hire this coach in the first place. That's what you do. Everything is very specific with Emery. And like he needs to work either at Sporting type team where he, first of all, he knows the culture, he knows the players, and he knows, and the owners are willing to do this, like, you know, big drastic changes. Or he just needs to coach like top rich team that will just trust him and believe in him completely 100%. And then I believe he will succeed. But what are those teams? Like Manchester City, Bayern, maybe. What else? Even at Bayern right now, Company, he's a head coach. He's not a manager. It's like an overall trend. You have less and less coaches who are actually managers. Most of them are head coaches. They're just working with the first team, okay? And then also, yeah, they can maybe be... their opinion can be taken into consideration by the executives when they're making decisions, but they're not making big decisions, those head coaches. Hence the title, head coach. No, this is still pissed you, as you can see. I'm not gonna upvote this, and I don't share this sentiment, obviously. I just want to look at the facts. Like, I just want to look at the facts and be reasonable. Nothing personal. Just judging his what he showed us, right? His work. Oof. Ouch. That's true. That is not a lie. Yes, very true. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's not a lie. All those things that I highlighted, it's exactly how it happened. He was asking for the sack. He wanted to be sacked. And he said that I don't need money. And then he took this money. Yeah, and he didn't issue anything like a letter of support or anything. He didn't basically say goodbye to the fans. And the football was boring as fuck. It was not. It was outstanding under Emmer. Outstanding. Even the game with Leon, let's say, right? It sound maybe, but the players just turned up, right? And you can say that some kind of Man United gene kicked in, like this kind of like muscle memory of Manchester United, that what we're playing until the end and we can always score. This thing just kicked in, and that's why we won that game. It was not because of Emery. Emery was shocked and surprised. He was celebrating like a boy when Kobe scored and then Maguire. He didn't believe what he's seeing. So he didn't coach that victory, and it was an outstanding game. It was like I rewatched that game because it was so good. I wanted to watch it again, but he didn't do anything in that game, like to what I'm saying. He was shocked. He didn't expect the team to win this game. He was like, wow. He was like, he was doing this. Like, I cannot believe this. It tells you everything about this guy. And he was talking a bunch. He was talking too much. A lot of interviews, a lot of press conference, and not just like, it's like you're contractually obligated to do all this stuff. He was actually like, it seemed like he genuinely wanted to give all this extra information to everyone he was talking to. There you go. That's what they need. A fan is saying. That's who they hired. Oh, that was too much. That's true, yeah. It is true. Because, like, where he goes from there. Okay, maybe they can, take him with open arms in Portugal again, because it's his home country and it's his home. But, like, in Europe, like, if he fails at Milan, if he fails because of those reasons, like not being able to adapt and just give results, like what is out there for him in Europe? Like, who would take him? Who would hire him? It's not a lie. It has. I mean, this guy already has an agenda. He didn't forgive Amorim, but maybe I would change the words that he's using, right? But he's kind of like he's a bit offensive. But he calls him out, and he should be called out. Amorim should be called out. This just made me way more nervous for the next season. The clinical forward we will have is an 18-year-old, and the DM we have could barely sniff the pitch last season. Also, the wingers are bang average at best. That's why he was pissed off. That's why he was pissed off. That's why he said what he said here. Because he probably wanted to say, like, you know what, we bring these players. And they told him, you know what, you're a head coach. You're going to work with what we give you. Okay? Just negative comment. This is such bullshit also. This is such a bullshit agenda that they're not doing anything. Just because West Ham is asking like for this crazy money for these players right now. And obviously we're waiting for them to change their asking price. And this person says that they're sitting their asses off. Clueless. That's Reddit, and like the type of like comment here, this type of agenda and take that was upvoted when Amorim was coach. Like, this shit was upvoted, and everyone who was calling it out, they were downvoted. Everyone. Can you imagine it? You are being downvoted for just like for speaking the truth. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And like being also like cordial and being very moderate with your choice of word, very mindful in your choice of words, and still getting downvoted like minus like 100. I remember minus like 300. It's crazy. It's crazy. Incredibly, yeah. That's how it is. It's incredibly generous. Yes. Yes. I agree. I say incredibly generous. This comment, this whole thread that was created. Yeah, that's true. And Bruno Fernandes, by the way, if he managed to create moments of brilliance, it was in spite of, it was against the what Amorim said, because he told Bruno Fernandes, he's like, I mean, everyone knows, a lot of people know Bruno Fernandes and how he plays and what he can do, what he can offer. Had a trash game for Portugal, but the whole Portugal had a bad game. A World Cup, I mean. But everyone knows what type of player Bruno Fernandes is. What Amorim did. He told him to play a holding midfielder. He told him play 6, Bruno. And still, it's like, in spite of this insanity, he was able to create something. And then obviously later he became the best assist maker in the league, and he broke the record of a Premier League of all time best assist maker when he was actually playing his position where he's supposed to be playing. Things are not that difficult in life and in football, I think also. Sometimes common sense is enough. Okay? Like ideas and your like refusal to compromise and stuff, like it can get you only where it can get you, okay? Because someone needs to be helping you so much if you have these ideas, and you know, if you hate compromises, like you have to have a lot of support in order to succeed with this type of attitude, or you have to outwork everyone. It's not for everyone. It's not such a widespread kind of like pattern of success. And especially this is like, he was hired to do the job, okay? It was not his startup. He didn't start a club and he was like, you know what, I'm going to do it my way. And he did it his way. No, he went and he applied for the job. He was accepted. He was hired, and there were requirements that he had to match. Okay, he's 100% the worst manager we had. Yeah, I agree. Oh, yeah, very true. His emotions got the best of him in many moments. In many moments, yes. That's the thing that I already forgot about it, but he reminded me. Absolutely. Absolutely. The kid is playing national team now. And he played final for national team in previous tournament. Said he's not good enough. Amorim said he's not good enough to start for Manchester United. Yeah, I think you should, when you talk about his win record, you have to consider Premier League, because obviously Europa League, it was different for him and it was easier for us, objectively speaking. But this is bread and butter. It's an English team, it's Manchester United. They play first and foremost in Premier League. So this is where we need to focus on. And that was his record. It's horrendous. And this is also horrendous. Crashed out after this game. He literally crashed out. He turned on his own players after this game. Very true. And he was hired as a head coach once again. So what was his frustration about? Like, I don't really understand it. It's like you sit down with people, right? They give you the contract. They explain to you, you're going to be a head coach. And you're like, you know what? But I'm still feeling like I want to be more of a manager. And they're like, you know what? No, we hire you as a head coach. And he's like, okay, I signed, but in my head, I'm a manager. Because the money will just look too good. Those commas, they look just too sexy on the paper, on the contract. Yeah. I mean, he's just listing the achievements of Carrickle, right? Yeah, the goal difference with Amorim, it was haram also. It's horrible. It was horrible. Yeah, that is like this one thing alone. It tells you a lot about his coaching style and about his expertise. Because he wants to play what he wants to play, he takes player who is capable of breaking the assist record of all time in Premier League. Some people say the most difficult, the best league in Europe, in football, in world football. To the player who can perform like this in one of the best leagues in the world, he's telling them, you know what, drop deep and you're just going to be a holding midfielder. Why would you do that? This is one of the best creative sources, creative engines in your squad. Why would you do that? It's like shooting yourself in the foot just because you want to do it like you want to do it. Yeah, if he played in this position the whole season, he would have broken the record already, like by, I don't know, by March or something. Yeah. I don't need to we don't need to get personal, but all those things that are facts, he stated, like all these things that are facts. Not very true. Attitude is connected to the coach, to the change of coaches. I talked about it in my video, Rashford Dilemma. The video about that is titled like Barcelona did not use their option to buy. I talked about it there. As I said, we had given up Premier League by mid-February and was Mad Mac. Okay, so he's trying to defend his takes and he gets upvoted to 21. I don't understand how. That tells you a lot about Reddit and about the space that it is. It's really like a separate world for sure. Because how the hell this guy who created this subreddit gets 21 upvotes, and the guy who's just giving you truth, which is a little bit like harsh in terms of choice of words because he called him a fraud and liar, etc. But he stated facts here, okay? And he gets like 11 upvotes, and the guy who's still defending Amorim, 21 upvotes. I don't get it. That's Reddit right there. That's why I told that it's like this is something that keeps on giving. It really keeps on giving. Oh, this guy too fast to serious. Oh my god, I'm pissed. Wow. Nah, it will not help because these people, they're just like zombies. I'm telling you. The sleep will not help. Right now, yeah, why not? I would say, yeah, right now he is one of the best. Why now? Why not? Who are there on the left wing? What is the like top 10 players on the left wing? He's definitely top 20, like top 15, top 20 Rashford on left wing right now. Why not? I mean, Liao will be in that list also. I mean, of course, we will joke about Liao, we will joke about Lukaku, we will joke about Rashford, but still, I mean, there will be in top 20 or something list. Of course, they will not score everything, and they have bad moments, but in general, they have qualities. Fans crying out for a midfield overhaul. What was Amorim asking for? Because Amorim ball is not about midfield. So fans maybe were crying out for a midfield overhaul, but his style of football, he neglects midfield basically. He doesn't really care about midfield because he attacks on wings. He's not attacking centrally. But why it's working out like now? Like why after Carrick came, everything just suddenly started working out? I swear to God, this guy, like, oh my God, jarring. Okay, so I mean, judging from comments of Milan fans. Oof. Oof. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Interesting take. As Nuruddin says, put down the crack pipe. Okay? Put the pipe down. Irresponsible comment. Clueless. So basically what I understand from reading this, well, first of all, right, it was not a post by originally post by Milan fans. It was Manchester United fan, right? But the answers were from Milan fans. Oh, I didn't know that Juventus has 36 titles. That's crazy. That's Grimsby. He went back to his whatever tactics. Yeah. Good, but good take, good assessment. I just don't understand why these clubs, United and Milan, they decided that they will give him this, like, like if he's an immature, that why he has to learn on during those jobs. Like those are big jobs, big responsibility. If if he needs to learn still, like this is like why you give him time. Like why it's like who is he to you, sort of like to to give him that chance, like to learn on those jobs at our expense, learning at our expense. Like that's why I don't understand. He was toxic also himself, let's be real. Yeah, that's true that some of those players, but you got to also study like why those players behave like this, right? Because if you have a great collective, if you have a good healthy dressing room, players like this with this type of attitude, they will not find any not success, but they will not basically find any outlet. Because like what if you're like, let's say you don't want to train, right? You want to play PlayStation, right? But everyone else is training, so you will be the only one play PlayStation, right? So you get what I'm saying. So it's like if everyone is like invested in training and everyone is just doing what you will also do it because you are a part of collective. Like what's the point being like stubborn and just like being a rebel, like in a situation where everyone is happy, they're winning, they're enjoying, and you're the only one who's like, what, I don't want to train with you, I'm gonna play PlayStation. Think about it. That's just how it works. But if the environment already is like toxic, and if it's like the results are shit, like, and everything is just not good, of course you want to distance yourself. Of course you will not like spend more time training, or you will like try to escape, or etc. So I get like criticism of like Sancho, Rashford, other Garnacho, and other players, but for them it was just a reaction to the adversities. Because when the things are going well, these players, they have no issue. They're playing, they're enjoying, etc. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's why another it's another theory, conspiracy theory. They hired him because United fans will watch, and it will like increase the revenue. Like the eyeballs from United fans will help Milan generate revenue because they will watch, of course. Will I watch? I don't know, but like it's gonna be interesting. As a United fan, of course, it will be interesting to see how he will do. Inter fan. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Yep. Hmm. Yeah, he's not speaking Italian also. He speaks Portuguese and English. Zlatan. And then this guy also is like, it's okay, we know better. Most tactical heavy league, and he cannot adapt tactically. So what's gonna happen there? Okay, so you see, there is no explanation here. I think it's just like many shouldn't think. Many people realize how much personal connections influence the press and information in general, especially those outside of it. La Liga is heavily backed by the media till the very end, and despite the scoring 20 points in the last 15 matches, everything would have been alright if he had obtained a draw against Cagliari and qualified for the Champions League. It would have been the celebration of the Corto Musa of the final result. If everyone doesn't, he would take the job, same as from doesn't obtain the results, not protected by the manager, which currently doesn't exist. I don't expect the press to be so kind to him, and considering that he was sent away from Manchester after his words at the press conference, what kind of outside pressure might be fatal for him if Conte doesn't go to the national team? Or might be straight up sabotaged by the media. Wow. I wouldn't compare Conte to Amorim. Different personalities. They ask for different things. Also, different success recipe. So it doesn't make sense to me. What I don't see in those threads is like some kind of logical explanation, like why it makes sense. It seems like some people splice the split. It goes like one group of people, they just being optimistic and positive and just like hope for the better, and you have other group of fans who just like frustrated. And Milan fans, they basically just kind of, oh, we're shit. So it's like, you know what? It's like, I'm not surprised by this. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't know. Like the Zlatan and this guy, Jerry, Redbird Jerry. Maybe they just know something that we don't. Okay, look at this. Another game starts. Switzerland, Bosnia. Should we do this? Okay, let me set it up. Just in background, it will be. Who's home team here? Switzerland? Swiss? Bosnia. Okay, let's get back to this. So this seems to be like same names I see: Glasner, Rangnick, Kroos. So basically, Milan is hiring also some kind of other guy in hierarchy, like not a coach or manager, but like a head of football type of kind of sporting director, sort of like figure. And this guy basically said also that it's like Amorim is the guy. So they're not only hiring Amorim, they're also hiring this head of football. So they're built like there is a project in place somehow. So the only reason they signed Amorim is because this guy who they're expecting to sign also for them is okay, like gave a green light to work with Amorim. So the fans are not really like gassed, to put it mildly. But like, what does it change? Like, if they sign this guy as a head of football, and they bring Amorim together, and they are like okay with each other, what's the difference if they only bring Amorim and without this guy? Like, what would be the difference? I don't understand. Still, he will be the coach. Like, and we already know what type of mindset he has, how like how difficult he is to work with. So what's the point here? Like, why this person will suddenly like elevate Amorim? Like, with this guy it will be okay, but without him it will be bad. Still, you will have to deal with Amorim. Like, what's the difference here? How much difference does this guy make? But a lot of similar takes that it's like the fans are just like not happy. They're like almost already accepted that they're like not going anywhere. Hope, basically. They just hope. Hopefully. They just hope and support the club, basically. The same thing we done when we signed Emery, but it was different because we didn't know. There was no Manchester United experiment. It was only Sporting. Amazing Sporting, right? So everyone will say that it's like, wow, it was so good. Hype. There was good hype based on something good, on good results. Oh my goodness, it scares me. That's collocation is like ugh. Almost until the very end. So you turned on him. Not time, money also. Not only time and space, but money also, finances, resources. He will struggle against low block. Okay, there you have an answer. They have no time. Because it's AC Milan. It's not like Sampdoria, okay? It's not Lecce. They need wins. They need to be top at the top. They gotta be there. Oh my goodness! There you go, there you go. I know that before this appointment, I think I was talking to a Milan fan. It was maybe a year ago, year and a half, and we were talking about football. And this guy, the fan, was complaining about this ownership, about this Redbird. Basically, they're just like not really trying to compete for the title. They're just making money. They're doing deals, they're making business, and they're selling players, but they're not really, they're not really trying to win the Scudetto. That's how they call it, right? I think Scudetto. So yeah, and that kind of says it all. It meant that already they are like not on the path of, kind of like greatness. Let's call it like this. So what I'm saying is like that the club was like not in shambles, but it was like uh, not clear what the hell they're doing there. And this, if we taken this as like a backstory, like a background for this decision, for this appointment, that didn't make total sense. But the question is why they cannot figure it out, like why they cannot, sort of stop this mess and just decide that, what, we just actually want to go back to winning ways. Let's pick the right strategy and right project, and let's pick the right coach. Okay, so there is no answer to this question. Yeah, Glasner, of course, he won, right? He won in Europe. He also maybe possibly he was able to bring you Wharton, which is an amazing player. So imagine like Glasner goes Milan and he's in good contact with Wharton, and he just like, you know what, let's just take him to Milan. Wharton in Italy, oh my goodness, that would be so amazing. So Milan, basically, they're eyeing not only a coach, they also want head of football. So they wanted like two people to bring two people, and like they had this pair, and also this pair, and Amarim. This coach specifically, he will not reflect the vision of the management because he has his own vision, his own system. So everyone needs to basically just align with his vision. Who knows? Makes zero sense. That's Milan fans are saying. Gamble. Is it even a? It's not even a gamble. It's like a losing bet. That's how it looks like. The game started. Oh, it's 2 minutes already. Oh my goodness. True. Maybe he just was at his place there in Sporting. Maybe it was his, you know. I think Allegri proved more in European football than Amorim. Honestly, I would love to speak to Milan fan, who is tapped in. The storm is coming to Milan. Okay, so I don't want. I feel like I'm kind of like over it for now. But have I found the answer? Not really. But I kind of got more context, definitely. Oh my goodness, this was where they operating. Again, probably he worked with less budgets when he was at Sporting. But can you bring players from Portugal to Italy and like make it work? Oh, it's in Italian. I don't really know. yeah, like this guy who everyone was trashing, like the previous owner. Oh my god, the politician Berlusconi. He did a good job because they were in the Champions League and they were winning games. They had good squad. They had good legacy, heritage, trophies. But apparently, Redbird. The hell? Okay, so I'm gonna close Reddit. So we learned about this guy today, about Zlatan also, and the fact that they're building something and it's not super clear what the hell they're building there. Okay, now I have a call. I think I'm gonna answer it. So I'm gonna kind of stop the stream. Maybe I'm gonna continue later with something else. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let's keep an eye on this Milan situation. Take care. Peace.